So hi Meegan, hey, I met you not that long ago when you came to the Somebody Beautiful burlesque night, so we danced the night away and felt good in our bodies, huh?
We did. It was so much fun.
So great that you're wanting to come to this menopausal, magical, whatever it's called, musical coming up soon. So that'll be a lot of fun as well as one of the events coming up. So as you know, this is an interview series I'm doing with beautiful women like yourself, and the series is called A Woman's Rite of Passage to Self-Love. And what I'm loving about this series is women are coming in with their various experiences and rites of passage, let's call them, those tricky, difficult moments that we've had in our life and are part of our lives. And I'm loving that they're coming in with different angles, but essentially coming back to similar things that we can share, or that we do share as a collective of women. So thank you for being part of this. And I know just from the very short time I've known you that postnatal depression was a part of your life at one stage. Can you just lead us down a little bit of that track of what it was like for you? And yeah, let's go from there.
Yeah, well, it was pretty horrendous to say the least. Took me to the depths of despair. Yeah, nowhere else to go actually. Hit rock bottom, and so yeah, it was upwards from there. Yeah, it wasn't very pleasant at the time, but it was my spiritual awakening. It was my my opportunity to find me, and I was probably about 28. Was my second son. He's now 19, and my eldest is 21. And then I have my little Oaks, who's 5.5. So, yeah, yes, it was a very dark time. And what I discovered, it was about I'd put a lid on my emotions, and had proceeded to do a lot of behaviours that I thought was normal. It was my coping strategy. So was blessed with an angel baby, and then my second son, who is also an angel baby, he had reflux though. So there was the sleep deprivation that started to.
Angel baby, tell us that.
So angel baby, oh my goodness. So Damien, yeah, wow, like yeah, that was a beautiful lead into motherhood. So he slept through the night at 6 weeks old. He was 2 weeks prem, so he was jaundiced, so he would sleep 4 hourly during the day, and then I'd need to wake him for a feed. But he breastfeed without any issues. He went to anybody. Sleeping was just wonderful. I could go anywhere. We were away camping, and he was 6 months old, and I looked down at his mouth and went, "What's that little white speck?" And he'd cut a tooth. So, you know, there was just no such a placid baby, just no complaints from him. So I could go anywhere, do anything, and take him with me. And, you know, he would sleep wherever I popped him down to sleep. Solids was just a great transition. So yeah, that's what I call a dream baby. Was healthy, well, and content. So yeah.
So as a woman conceiving him, can you look back and remember the conception and what you as a woman were feeling and experiencing in life? And was there joy in your life at the time which you think may have influenced that? Or what was going on for you personally as a woman?
I hadn't found myself then. I didn't know who I was then. I thought I did, but I didn't. Didn't know who Meegan was then. So I had a lot of patterns, behaviours, strategies in place that I didn't even realise was in place, and that's what came to the fore when Gareth, my second son, was born. It's like you cannot put a lid on yourself or living your full potential, shining your light and living a happy, contented, healthy life yourself. So yeah, let's just put in another baby that's
in place for that first one. What were the strategies?
Pardon?
What are the strategies that you're talking about that you had in place for that first one, for your first child?
So not just strategies for me coping in life, basically. So control freak.
Ah.
Yeah.
Were you a corporate girl? Were you a corporate girl back then?
No, never been a corporate girl. Okay. No, always done helping. It's helping support others at both ends of the spectrum. So I've done childcare and nannying, and I've worked with oldies in a rest home. So that's my thing.
Frank wasn't probably challenged with number one then, because he was such a, in your words, angel baby. Okay, that's so number two. Lead us through number two. Our lovely number two.
Yeah. Number two, darling Gareth, another placid baby, and if we'd taken away his silent reflux. So they knew at the time about the visual projectile reflux, where they project or vomit, but the silent reflux was not so common. So what that would do, it's the valve at the top of this at the top of the stomach there, it doesn't close off properly, so the acid milk leaks up and burns the esophagus, and so he was in lots of pain, and so he was spilly, needed to be upright, cried a lot because he was in pain. So it was that vicious circle of the sleeping and the feeding wasn't so great. He breastfed. He was fine breastfeeding, and but a poor little chappie. He was very, very pale and very pink under the eyes, just through lack of sleep, and
So where did you recognise? What do you describe it as, postnatal depression, or do you have another word for it?
That was postnatal depression. There are, there's distress, there's anxiety, and there's varying degrees on the spectrum of postnatal depression. So if you sit with that for yourself now, what are the words that you would describe now for that experience? Would it be the same? Yeah, depths of despair, like I mentioned before, out of control, dark, black, not here, totally checked out, couldn't distinguish between reality. Well, that's not totally true. That kind of seems a bit delusional. I wasn't delusional. I was here, and but I was removed from, I knew what was going on around me, but I was detached emotionally, and I was on a bit of medication as well, so that probably didn't help. Made me a little bit spacey. So, and in fact, but that was what that was all about, for me to get in touch with my emotions, because prior to that, I would consider myself not a feeling being, but I actually realize I am totally very empathic, very feeling, very intuitive, and I wouldn't have described that as that being me.
So what emotions reared themselves well?
Rage was a good one, and
did you experience rage in your body?
Did I experience rage in my body? Yeah. And where? So in the heart area, and in the solar plexus. So actually in my jaw and teeth and hands, as well, just wanting to just clench, and and that was actually mild compared to the experience I had with Logan. I spent 3 years enraged, so that's another story again. That wasn't depression, that was anxiety, and a lot of outside influences were happening, lots of contributing factors there that brought me to that place. So
hey, just before I was talking to you, I wrote my own little article or short story once about my own experience of depression, which I know will be very different to yours. But I just pulled out the quote just before we got online here, and I wonder what it means to you. And the quote is this: depression has many guises. It can be a mask of insignificance, the not good enough cap, or the scarf of sadness and grief. Let's try on that they are different but part of the same outfit.
Oh, I've gone.
And, you know, I think we bandy around that word depression. I was having a chat with a woman the other day. We have that word, and, you know, often our instant or my instant recognition of that word is, you know, incredibly sad, unmotivated, etc., and often medicated. But for me, my own personal learnings around depression for me were often depression. A synonym was often loneliness, for example, or not good enoughness, or I still can't get it right, or whatever that was. So if there was another synonym for you, another same word meaning, what would that be for depression, how you felt it postnatally?
Yeah, totally isolated as well. Lonely is at the core of my being. So I had a really great husband and people all around, but I felt totally alone. And and
I think that's about as women, because often we're surrounded by people, or we have access to people, but we still feel so alone and so, like you say, isolated. What's that about?
What was coming through for me as I spoke that then is because I didn't love myself. I feel it's because I was detached from myself. So if I can't let myself in, how can I let anybody else in? No self-esteem, no self-confidence, no self-love. Used food to control. Did some not so nice things to myself, you know.
So what did a serious bad hair day look like for you back then?
Oh my God, I
Because there'll be some women out there who are going, oh my God, I've got it. I'm feeling it. What did
I would, in my dressing gown for days on end, not shower for days on end, the house looking like a bomb has hit it, not being able to concentrate enough to put things away. So, you know, in the kitchen, get things out, rather than put them into the dishwasher, they'd just be in the sink or on the bench. Chaos. Just a mess everywhere. And of course, for a control freak, that's and a perfectionist, and of course what comes with perfection is procrastination, because you can't get it great enough, so let's just not do anything at all.
Stop that. So just the whole wording around postnatal, you know, after the birth of the baby, did that happen for you immediately, or was there sort of a transition into this feeling and this experience of what you were going through? Yeah,
it was gradual. Some women get it quite quite straight away. For me, it was the gradual. Around Gareth was 3 months old then, and that's when he really was starting to feel even more unsettled, which unsettled me. And of course, that vicious cycle of feeding off each other, so to speak, and doesn't make for a great recipe. And the interesting thing is, I had the support there. I just was unable to, one, ask for it, but two, receive it. That's the bigger one. It's just like, no, I need to fold the washing my way because it helps me feel in control. The paradox about it is that I was totally out of control. And once, I was doing that to feel in control, but I was totally out of control. And that's the whole thing. Hey, Meegan, surrender. And let's feel like what total control is like. And actually everything's okay. Just breathe, everything in this moment is fine.
So do you think as a woman we fluctuate with our hormones, do you think hormones have a part to play in that depression feeling or that experience?
Yeah, they probably do. As a cocktail of things, it can be a cocktail of things for women, but certainly, and especially if you've already got a bit of a hormonal imbalance anyway, as in, you know, you got your adrenals and thyroids. Oh, there's lots there. Your hypothalamus, which is, if that's not you know, being fed and operating correctly, it affects all the rest of the body. So, you know, I prior to having the children, so prior to postnatal depression, I had an eating disorder. So, you know, I really tested my body. I put it under stress and strain, and yeah, very starving and binging. So, you know, that wasn't probably a good recipe for going into a pregnancy. However, my pregnancies, I have great pregnancies, great births, you know, no pain relief, no stitches, just I'm very, all of that's fine. It's the after the birth that, in 2 instances in my case, that, yeah, it gets a little hairy.
You're a journey practitioner, is that right?
Yeah, I am.
So knowing what you know now through that experience of as being a journey practitioner, and through what you've been through with all of your children, knowing that there's other grief underneath our eating issues.
Yes.
Never about food, and there's other grief underneath or exacerbating our depression feelings.
Yes.
Do you know what that is for you?
Yeah, well, we touched on that before about the loneliness. You know, I've always felt very alone. And I have felt a bit different as well. Yeah, just...
I'm so pleased you gave that answer. I so resonate with that answer, Meegan. I so get you.
Yeah.
And like if we get each other on this, if we get each other, there are other women listening on in who go, is that what it is? And what do we do with loneliness? How can we be open to receiving friendships, to being trusting of other people, other women, other people, you know? Loneliness is huge.
And I believe it starts with us. We have to love ourselves, you know, we have to go within. And that's what the postnatal depression journey was for me. It was a discovery of me. Who am I? What are my values? What are my beliefs? What is that saying coming out of my mouth? That's something my dad said. How does that relate to me? What is that? I'm just saying that because I've heard it. So, you know, I really dissected my thoughts and my beliefs and behaviors, and, you know, it took a lot of conscious work, but I swapped the negative for a positive. And, I love who I am. I love my life. It's great. And I would never do anything like this. I was just the shy girl hanging out in the back of the room, watching everybody else and being, you know, don't say anything to me because I might cry, you know, totally in fear and insecure and self-conscious.
Well, I want to ask this question that kept coming up in my head. It's like, is there anything wrong with postnatal depression? Because we often think anything that bad happens is wrong, you know, or bad. And, you know,
absolutely not. There's no bad or good. There's no right or wrong. It's just is. And, you know, there's difference. So for me, I wouldn't change that for the world. I mean, that was horrible what I went through, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because, you know, close to nearly 30, I got to wake up and start living my life and find the true me and shine my light. Oh my goodness, the doors that have opened and what's unfolded for me has just been exponentially, awesomely amazing. And, you know, it's only just begun, so to speak. You know, stuff just keeps happening and unfolding and expanding, and all is well.
I also want to speak into the shining your light because prior to my chat with you this morning, I always choose sit quite in quietness really and intuitively feel into you and me and what this is going to evolve for women. And I plonked myself here on a beanbag, so you're probably wondering where I am. And I found this picture and I put her up there. I don't know if you can see her, but she's this woman.
Yes, I can.
Pool of water, and she's got sunflowers. So for me, and I love symbols, and for me, I drew the sunflower on a piece of paper prior to chatting to you about, and I think what I hear in you and what I hear in me in this conversation is that it's often sunflowers are very much on their own. They're tall and strong in their own light. And we've often been on our own and felt that isolation and that loneliness. But we are such powerful plants / women. Being that sunflower, but being fed by source, by being fed by that sunlight. And I love that analogy of, with depression, we often get told to go outside and sit in the sun, for God's sake, along with connecting with our spirit or our source. So really, I'd love this conversation to kind of head into, how have you, and, my soul mentoring is called this, revive your feminine spirit. How have you revived your feminine spirit from that dark place? Very, very dark place by the sounds of it. I mean, we've only had a snippet of it, but I can imagine it was huge for you. I mean, how have you come from that darkness into the light of, your spark again? How did you get your spark back is probably what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, that's been a journey. And like I mentioned about loving me, so doing things for me, what makes my heart sing, and I still employ that. I check in, is this what I really want to be doing right now? So I eliminated a lot of things that zapped my energy, that didn't bring me joy, that I was doing it because it's the right thing to do, or, I didn't want to upset anybody. And I started taking note of me and my needs, and started respecting myself and my time. And there's that beautiful saying, do what you love what you're doing. And I embrace that every day. And if I'm, and it's just amazing what unfolds. So, and I follow my heart. What feels great, you're on the right track. And giving really helped. So, I went on to help other women with postnatal stress, depression, and that. So, giving, but also making sure it was in balance. And I've just had had that pop up again for me, where I was still actually supporting others over myself and my family. I thought I was balanced, but hey, there was a little niggle in there that was said, yeah, no, not quite. So took up yoga.
And I love the one about eliminating, women these days, especially in some of the circles we're in, are just adding to their to-do list.
Yeah.
And the tick off list, and it does my head in now. I've played Superwoman you for many years, and a giver to others versus a giver to ourselves. And that tick off list, I often encourage women to what would with the question, what would you like to take off that list? What actually not love doing anymore? Like exactly what you're saying. What do you not love? Do you love that PTA meeting or not, or do you feel like you have to go to it? Do you love that, whatever club you're in? No, actually. Okay, so stop it. Do you love doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, take that off your list then, for God's sake, and ask your soul what it's really wanting and needing.
Absolutely.
How have you learned to say no? Because it's not an easy word for women.
Yeah, well, the more that I, respected myself and loved myself, the easier it became. And it was challenging in the beginning because, it was a hard thing to do because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be not liked, Everyone loves Meegan, let me just be the good girl and blend in there. But if I'm not
don't blend in, darling.
What's that?
Sunflowers don't blend in.
Yeah, no, they stand out there big and tall. So
they stand on their own. Yeah. So how have you maintained your strength around that? Because I get that as a mother, often we do stuff for our kids, or we don't say stuff because we don't want them to respond. Ag and think it's all unfair. We often mop up. Yeah. So how do you on a daily basis learn to go, hey, what's important for me in this moment?
Absolutely.
Learning.
Yeah. So for me, it's my body. I'm really in tune with my body, and my body will tell me if I've, and my emotions, they're a guide as well. So, my body, if it's, got a little ache here, I go, okay, you're trying to tell me something, enlighten me, please. And it'll either dissipate, I'll either get a response or don't. And it's okay. It's just that acknowledgement of, and and same with the emotions, it's okay. What's here? A little bit of fear. Okay, that's fine. And I don't push them away. I allow it to be there because it's the barometer. It's to the soul. It's trying to tell me something. They're trying to tell me something, and I need to listen. And I believe that's why we can get in extreme places, because we're not listening. So knock until we wake up.
That knock on the door?
What's that?
Isn't depression that huge knock on the door? It's going
absolutely
knocking, and it's knocking, and it's knocking, and it's knocking again, and it's knocking again. Same with PMT. People wonder why they go through PMT. It's the same thing. Every month we have this beautiful invitation in our our phase pre-menstrual to be listening and to be responding to what our body's saying, and actually allowing those emotions to express themselves. And if we don't express them, they come out in our body. They come out. Powerful.
Out of our mouths too, directed at other people, usually in the blame way. And that's because we're not taking responsibility. We need to take responsibility for that. And one of the big things is just taking time out. That's what I will sit and do nothing if I need to sit and do nothing. And it's still a work in progress. I love to do nothing, but I've got this other part of me that loves to be doing things and thinks I need to be over there instead of here. But that present moment, and having naps. If you need to have a nap, have a friggin' nap. If you can't keep your eyes open.
I'm the same now. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So how did you take off your superwoman cape? Your super perfectionist, super control freak, super thinking for others cape. How did you take that off?
So I was the participator in my life, but also the observer. So everything I said and done and thought, I would look at it and observe it and go, is this what I want? Or I could have said that a little bit different. And then I just kept continuing to work on myself. And then it's just second nature now. It just doesn't, it's totally swapped around. So that, and just
your awareness is opened. Huge awareness to come into your life and be responsible. I hear that. You're going, how am I part of this? How do I wish to respond?
Absolutely.
Rather than react. And a lot of people don't know what the difference. What's your take on the difference between reacting and responding?
Reacting and responding, responding is, you may need to, it's heart-based. Reacting can be just head-based, and whatever blurts out of your mouth, or even physical actions. And that's just a sign that, hey, you need to go, the ego's still trying to protect and keep us safe. And that's okay. It's just, we need to go within, and be gentle and kind on ourselves, and love ourselves, rather than berating ourselves and being so unkind on ourselves. Each moment is a new moment to start afresh. Okay, that word came out of my mouth this time, but next time I open my mouth, I've got a choice. And again, it may not come out the way I like it, but you just keep going. You just keep going, and you keep going, and all the while being kind.
I was going to say kindly. We keep going kindly.
Kindly. That's the one. We're doing the best we can. If we knew a different way, we'd be doing it.
Yeah.
So it
reminds me. I keep thinking over and over again. I saw this lovely thing on Facebook the other day of the hare and the tortoise, and I thought of that as the hare being the masculine, going there fast, wanting it all sorted right here and now, and the tortoise doing her slow plod, and she's our very feminine in us. But they were on this bicycle together, and what I loved about that analogy is we don't need to be one or the t'other. Actually, our best balance and the way we move through what we need to.
Yes,
is through that combination. I know it was just this quirky little picture, really, but I did enjoy it, and I thought that was a really good lesson for us, that we don't have to be striving and racing to get somewhere, because actually when we get to that somewhere, it's like climbing the ladder, and then where do you go next? And I often look at women who are trying to be successful and they go, I want to get here, and they're goal orientated, which of course is very masculine. And then, but what do they do when they get to the top of that ladder? Where do they go next? You know, do they fall somewhere, or, you know, what happens?
And usually along the way they haven't enjoyed the journey. It's so in a rush to get to the destination. And look, I'm eating my own words, or hearing my own words at the moment, because I've got some stuff where I'm launching my business, and I'm like wanting to go and be over there and I need to be here. So it's a good reminder for me. It's to enjoy that journey. That's the destination will always be there, and if it's not one thing, it's another. There's always something unfolding that where we want to get to, or where we want to be. So
thank you so much for that, Meegan, because that just relates to, that I'm writing that book, Dancing in Our Own Full Moonlight, and I thought it would be launched by actually yesterday, full moon. I wanted it, around the middle of the year, full moon, because it's called Dancing in Our Own Full Moonlight, and was written over the lunar cycle, So that was my kind of wishes and plans. I'm not so goal-orientated like I used to be, but that was certainly my intention, was that for that to happen. Well, I'm only at stage 1 of the publishing process, because other things have had to be done, including inviting my family members to give their blessing on my book.
Yes.
And that has been the journey, because probably my book was written for me to have those conversations.
Yes.
That have opened up some family stuff and stories and new perspectives, and even my mother standing up for herself for the first time in her life, saying, no, I don't give my blessing for this book. And it's like, maybe that's what I've needed, versus the book in my hand at this moment. As frustrating as it is, and as disappointing as it's been, and huge frustration around that, my lesson is stop pushing, Janelle.
Absolutely.
These are perhaps the reasons and the perfection of this process, versus I've got the thing at the end that I thought I wanted. And I think that's what many women will need to hear today. So thank you for that. It's not just about that end product or that end business that we're looking for, the end, number of clients we want, or the end, whatever it is we want in our life, man in our life, whatever it is, whatever it is. It's not, that is not life. Actually.
No. And it's about having fun along the way. That's my motto. Is like, if it's having fun, we take ourselves too seriously, and there's enough seriousness around. And so celebrating freedom, we're free right now, right here, and celebrating that, in whatever way that is for each individual,
Just, it's interesting where this conversation has led. So, you're talking journey, and you've done journey work, Brandon Bay's journey work, and now doing, is it Quantum Essences?
Yes.
So can you tell us where you're at with all that, and what those are, and how they can be helpful to us as women and as men?
Yes.
Listening.
So the Quantum Essences are made in New Zealand, and they're homeopathics, and they're high vibrational, and they assist the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, and they're very deep and profound, and very subtle and gentle at the same time. And so just they can assist for that, give that emotional support, and give insight and guidance, and very beautiful indeed. So it's a great transition. A lot of us can be scrambling at this time of the speeding up, and it's important we stay grounded, and
well, a lot of us are feeling it in our bodies right at this moment.
So this helps, and this helps just to bring up any stuff that may be preventing us from shining our light, or not being grounded, or just a beautiful support tool. So
very good. Hey, just one more thing, just about our beautiful woman here and her surrounded by her sunflowers. And it's funny, I put on a top this morning with daisies. This
I know.
really about our blossoming today as women and shining our light as women and just vital as women. So what women in your life, be they authors or inspiring coaches or women in your family line or women in soul who pass, who actually let's start with those in soul because I love this conversation. Who's there in spirit that has helped you shine your light, and how do you connect with them, if at all?
Here, this is interesting because I feel like I'm pretty solo in this. I've actually been the light shiner myself. I've had to go to the places that have so I have there are influences in my life that I don't want to be like them because I want to be me, but
there's sometimes qualities, however, we see in people that are the reflection of ourselves.
That's right. And my mum, she's just a kind, generous, nurturing woman, and so was my dad, a man. And I'm being blessed with those kind, generous, nurturing characteristics. And Brandon Bays, she's phenomenal. She's just an inspiration.
She's a light for herself. You just look into her eyes and she's just got it happening, hey? She's heartfelt love.
And there's lots of women that are lots of women and men, just even Jesus's, I'm not I'm not religious or at all. I don't really know too much about the Christian's story, but I've heard of Jesus's his virtues, and I love others like you love yourself, and love thy neighbor, and it's all just about being kind and loving, and I just resonate with that, and so I actually take a lot of whatever resonates with me actually in regards to just other like the Eastern philosophies with Buddha and the mindfulness, and it's being present to the moment. So there's no really one person that stands out, and I've just take on board.
You've been blessed by numbers of people, men and women in your life who have been a shining light for you and a beacon of
absolutely
for you
in
some way.
And I take from them what resonates with me. I suppose that would be key, is that we all just pick and choose from the best of what's out there and apply it to ourselves. And if it resonates, what resonates for me might not resonate for you, and that's perfect.
Hey, just to finish this morning, actually last night my ritual was to build a fire outside and to sit around my fire with my man and to glare up at the full moon and see her beauty. But also this morning I asked for 3 words, 3 values or 3 words or 3 experiences that I now wanted to open up myself to, so I can more fully be in my full moon light. And I'll share with you my 3 words, and I'm going to put you on the spot and see what intuitively comes up for you. So I won't hold you to it, but so my words, I'm open to. So the experiences I was open to were opening my the fullness of me sexually. To open to some new avenues creatively that will really fully express me, because I've really denied those because I've been too busy dealing with kids and all the rest. So my own creative avenues I'm being open to having come to me. And the last one was I wanted to say to be more of an advocate for women and their self-belief and being fully themselves, but the word inner activist came up. It was like almost a little bit more fiery than advocate, because I've always been that advocate and been the voice for people, but this one's a bit more feisty and fiery. So today I claimed with the full moon last night, my sexy creative interactivist.
Beautiful.
And I'm loving and feeling into that, and looking forward to seeing how that reveals herself. So just fully on the spot for you, and I know it is. What 3 new opportunities, new openings would you love to explore or to reveal yourself?
Yeah, well, when you were mentioning that, prosperous fun came to me. Yeah, so, and I've been playing with that a little bit, but I want to, really live into that even more so. So being prosperous and on all levels, and love and connection and financially and freedom, all prosperous and on all areas and of my life and being with myself and others and, with the beautiful Mother Earth herself and having fun along the way. It's, it's
been one of your
I can't,
Meegan.
What's that?
What you've been through. Yeah, fun is one of your lessons.
Absolutely. And
the lightness, I love that analogy as well. It's really about your lightness of being versus your heaviness of being.
That's exactly right. And and just shining my light more. So lighting the way, being there for others and I really love to tell my story and share my experiences, and if that can help others step into their light and their genius and their full potential, then so be it. So
So people are resonating with you, Meegan, and go, hey, I want to talk to this woman, how can they be in touch with you?
I can give my mobile number.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm a talker. I'd rather talk to someone on the phone or in face to face, than do a Facebook message. That has its place. However, I'm happy to. I just love that voice and that person connection. So my mobile number is 021.
Here in New Zealand.
066 4734. 021 066 4734.
Fabulous, Meegan. You are a woman of beauty. Keep shining your light. And thank you so much for the wisdom that you've shared with us, women and possibly men out there.
Yeah,
whether
absolutely.
That's in New Zealand or around the world. We so thank you for that.
Oh, pleasure. You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Thank you.